Imagine this. You're handed the golden ticket every golfer dreams of. An invite to play in a PGA Tour event. The cameras, the crowds, the spotlight. It's your chance to step into golf's most prestigious arena. But instead of saying yes, you walk away. Not because you're scared, not because you're not good enough, but because they told you to leave your camera behind. That's exactly what happened when Grant Horvat, a 26-year-old golf YouTuber with millions of fans, turned down the PGA Tour's Barracuda Championship. A YouTuber refusing the PGA? On paper, that sounds insane. But in reality, it exposed a truth the PGA would rather keep buried.
The rules and regulations around media rights and filming during tournament play of a PGA Tour event.
In today's golf world, a creator with a camera can be more powerful than a tour with trophies. This is the story of how a kid who thought golf was boring grew into one of the most watched golfers alive, and why the PGA sees him as a threat to their very existence. Grant wasn't born swinging a club like Tiger or Rory. In fact, he thought golf was lame. Growing up in Michigan, his whole world was football. Pads, helmets, Friday night lights, that was his life. And yet golf was always lurking in the background. His dad, Steve Horvat, was a teaching pro who lived and breathed the sport. The door was open if Grant ever wanted to walk through it. At 12 years old, curiosity won. Grant walked up to his dad and said, "Teach me." That's when everything changed. Long sessions on grip, stance, posture, reps in the cold Michigan air, fundamentals drilled over and over until they became second nature. His father wasn't just teaching him golf. He was building him a swing from the ground up. By the time high school ended, the kid who once thought golf was boring was suddenly good enough to play college golf in Florida. Grant enrolled at Palm Beach Atlantic University, playing 4 years of college golf. On paper, he was solid, reliable ball striker, steady competitor, but deep down he knew something important. He wasn't chasing the dream of pro golf. Grant even admitted later on, "I never really wanted to turn pro while in college."
I had the goal of playing in college. When I got to college, I kind of lost the competitive drive.
Think about that. Most kids playing NCAA golf are obsessed with Q School, mini tours, sponsor invites. Not Grant. He loved the game, but the grind of tour life, that wasn't calling him. Until one random friendship changed everything. During his time in Florida, Grant met Garrett Clark, better known as GM Golf. Garrett's YouTube channel was already making waves with trick shots, challenges, and a more fun, accessible take on the game. Grant's smooth swing, calm vibe, and easygoing personality made him the perfect fit for the group. Suddenly, he wasn't grinding out college events anymore. He was filming content that racked up millions of views. This was golf without the gatekeepers. No press credentials, no official networks. Just a group of kids with cameras, making the game fun. Grant's rise through GM Golf showed something the PGA had been ignoring for years. The casual audience wasn't tuning into 5-hour broadcasts of traditional tournaments. They wanted fast, fun, relatable golf. And good, Garrett, Grant, and the rest of the squad were giving it to them. When GM Golf evolved into good golf, things exploded. The group's matches, trick shots, and worldwide course vlogs turned into viral sensations. Millions of subscribers, tens of millions of views. Young fans wearing their merch like it was a sports team. The PGA Tour, meanwhile, was struggling to capture younger audiences. Ratings were dipping, attention spans were shorter, and here was a YouTube crew making golf look exciting, fresh, and entertaining. For kids who thought golf was boring, Grant became a fan favorite. His pure swing, clean style, and calm demeanor stood out. He wasn't loud or chaotic like some of the other guys. He was polished, professional, but still approachable. At this point, Grant didn't need the PGA. He was already a star. But then, everything shifted. In late 2022, Grant announced he was leaving Good.
Well, guys, Micah Morris and Grant Horvat have left Good. We all sit here today. This is not a video that we want to be bringing your guys' way in any way, shape, or form. but it's the fact of the matter.
For fans, it felt like a breakup. The internet exploded with theories. Was it drama? Money? Ego? Grant cleared the air himself. He said it was the hardest decision I've ever made, but he needed full creative control.
This decision was the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. Today there are certain things that I am not willing to compromise for that.
He wanted to build something of his own. He wanted flexibility, freedom, and most of all, time with his family back in Florida. For many, this was the moment Grant stopped being the YouTuber in good and started being Grant Horvat, the brand. Going solo is risky, but for Grant it paid off instantly. His personal YouTube channel took off like a rocket. Golf tutorials, range sessions with his dad, course vlogs, all pulling in millions of views. Sponsors noticed. Apparel brands, tech companies, golf equipment, everyone wanted a piece. He wasn't just a YouTuber anymore. He was a one-man media company, and the numbers don't lie. With over 1.4 million subscribers and videos that regularly break 1 million views, Grant's reach often dwarfs that of many PGA Tour pros. Think about it. Most PGA players outside the top 20 could walk through an airport without being recognized. Grant, he'd get mobbed by fans who don't even know who won last week's PGA tournament. Early 2025, Grant gets the call, a sponsor's exemption into the PGA Tour's Barracuda Championship. On paper, this is the chance of a lifetime, a ticket to legitimacy, a chance to prove he's more than just a YouTuber. But there's a catch. The PGA's media policy is strict. No cameras, no filming during competition, unless it's through their official team. And for Grant, that was non-negotiable. His entire brand was built on bringing fans with him, documenting his journey, not hiding it. Without the camera, he wouldn't just be losing footage, he'd be losing authenticity. So he said no.
But I am hopeful that sometime in the future we will be able to play in a PGA Tour event. I don't know which one it will be, maybe the Barracuda next year, and document and film the entire thing to share with you guys.
Grant posted a video titled, "Why I'm Not Playing a PGA Tour Event." Fans were stunned. Why would anyone turn down the chance to play the PGA Tour? But when they heard his reasoning, the internet rallied behind him. Comments flooded in. The PGA invited him because of his YouTube, and then told him not to YouTube it.
You know, this is the reason we got the invite in the first place, was because of YouTube and because of the amazing experiences I get to share with you guys.
This is why golf struggles to grow. Grant just did more for golf by saying no than he ever could by playing. The irony was brutal. The PGA wanted his influence, but only on their terms, and Grant called their bluff. Here's why the PGA is nervous. Grant isn't begging for a tour card. He doesn't need their stamp of approval. He built his audience without them. And, more importantly, he controls his own story. The PGA has always been about control. Who gets airtime? What gets shown? How much personality you are allowed to display? But Grant bypassed all of that. He talks directly to his fans, and they trust him more than they trust any tour broadcaster. If more players start realizing they can build an audience without the PGA, the old guard loses its monopoly. To be fair, the PGA isn't completely blind. They launched Netflix's Full Swing docuseries. They ramped up their social media presence. They even relaxed dress codes to let players show a little more personality. But at the end of the day, it's all still on their terms. They want modern golf, but only if they control it. Grant exposed the contradiction. The PGA wants creators, but only if those creators don't outshine the product. And that's exactly what makes him dangerous to them. Here's the truth. Grant Horvat may never win a major. He may never lift a trophy at Augusta. He may never even tee it up in a PGA Tour event. And none of that matters, because he already has something far more valuable. A loyal audience that doesn't care about trophies. They care about connection. They care about fun. They care about the game feeling real. Grant represents the future of golf, A future where entertainment and accessibility matter more than gatekeepers and old-school prestige. For the first time ever, the PGA isn't just competing with another tour, it's competing with the internet. And right now, the internet is winning. So was Grant Horvat wrong to turn down the PGA? Maybe to some, but to his fans, he sent a clear message. I don't need the PGA to matter. I already matter. That's the part that scares the old guard the most, because in a sport that's always been about who controls the spotlight, Grant just showed everyone that sometimes the spotlight follows the camera.